food in my teeth? No? I guess we're okay. Hey friends, what is up? Welcome to the vlog. It is Thursday, January 9th, starting off very late. It is 2:43 in the afternoon. As you can tell, I have not been vlogging because I have not been feeling very well. I've been feeling very, like, I don't know, does anybody else get like this? I think because I had so many social interactions over Christmas, so many things planned, like I met so many new people, like I, met the entirety of my boyfriend's family, the entirety of his staff at work. He got to meet my parents and all of my friends, and he went to my Christmas party, and I think that I'm just feeling very, like, emotionally drained, and like my body's defense mechanism for that is just to completely fucking shut down. So recently, I was telling him last night, I'm feeling very like, not, I guess like emotionless at this point, like the world could catch on fire and I'd be like, yeah, whatever, this is happening. So I've been trying to get back to just like taking care of myself when I'm feeling like that, because I guess since I've been single for so long and haven't really thought about it, to have somebody be like, something seems off, and like somebody who you interact with on a regular basis, like whether it be through text or, like in person, somebody who knows you can kind of pick up on the fact that you're not really acting like yourself. And I think that's what I'm going through right now. So because I am now aware of it and was able to kind of think through it with him last night, I think what I need to do, or what I've decided I need to do, is get back in the gym, because I also started birth control about a month ago. I'm on the last like couple of pills for my first pack, and so I've been on it for about 3 weeks, and I think that maybe, like he mentioned, maybe that could be what's causing it, because he said it was like right around the time, about a week after I started taking it, so right around the time when it would have really been circulating in my body. And I have never really had like an emotional reaction to birth control, so I don't know if that's really what's going on, or like I said, if it is just like an emotional drain from all of the interactions that I've had recently. But I do want to try to nip it in the bud, so I'm going to be going back to the gym, because for me, working out is a really good release. Like I never really, or I used to work out for like physical health, but recently what I've been trying to do is just use it as like a way to kind of drain some of my nervous energy, to kind of combat my anxiety. But I honestly haven't had any anxiety in the last 2 months, except for like one tiny little spike. Like just thinking about getting on a plane doesn't make me nervous. Like new situations, obviously I've been thrown into those a lot recently, and like, I don't know, just like normal little things haven't really been getting to me like they would. But just in case, like I do want to, continue to work out for that. I want to work out just like for physical stuff. Like I have just noticed, like the older I get, I'm going to be 30 next month, like the 6th of February is my birthday. And I want to start really like putting the effort into taking care of my body for like long-term stuff. And then also I want to focus on working out in like I don't know, helping with my sleep and helping with my mood overall. So there's a lot of reasons why I want to start doing it. And the other thing that I have been trying to focus on is eating better. So not eating a whole lot of sugar and trying to cut back on, like, because when I quit drinking caffeine, I substituted sugar for energy instead of caffeine for energy. And honestly, like, obviously that's not very good for you. So today I made a bunch of different stuff to bring with me for lunch. I like boiled potatoes and threw that in with kale and Brussels sprouts and like dressing, and made like a salad from that to bring with me to work. And then I have like carrots and like a sandwich and stuff, but just trying to eat, I guess, foods that make me feel better, as opposed to like loading myself up with sugar and then having like a sugar crash. So there's just like some life stuff that I'm trying to like get a fucking grip on. And I don't know, it's been kind of hard. Like it's like, because I'm trying to adjust to like new things, like dating someone and trying to spend time with them, but also like working and doing YouTube, and like trying to get a good balance on it has been pretty hard for me. And I haven't really felt like I've been able to like relax over the last 3 weeks. And I know he definitely feels that too, because we've just been go, 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 go with everything. And a couple of nights ago, we just like laid on the couch and played fucking Halo for a couple of hours, and it was great. And so just trying to like relax and take care of myself. But I did want to talk about what I'm going to be reading over this vlog. I have a few books that I'm going to be reading, so ignore the status of this book. I do bring these with me to work, and this one naturally is disgusting now. I'm reading The Guinevere Deception still. I am currently about halfway through. I'm on page 175. This is what I was talking about. Don't bring your shit to a restaurant. Like, I work in a restaurant. What am I doing? I'm going to be trying to finish that this week. But today, the book that I'm going to be trying to finish is Middlegame by Shauna McGuire. I've been reading this for like a month now. driving me insane. I'm on page 281, so just about halfway through. I have a little less than half left. And me, Bunny, and AJ are still reading this. AJ just finished his because his library hold is over. And I think Bunny is about where I am, but I'm trying to, you know, just get it out of the way so I can talk to them about it because I am really enjoying it. It's just for some reason, and I'm sure you guys feel like this too, I'm in the mood to do certain things and it comes and goes. And then also there's so many people on like Twitter and Instagram who are like, I just finished my 6th book or my 10th book. And I'm like, bitch, we are 9 days into this month, 9 days into this year, stop. And like, it's okay to like talk about it, but some people you can tell it's like a bragging thing, like they want like sort of validation for it, and like, well, I think that's wonderful, and I am like, hey, congrats, like that's fucking fantastic. Like for somebody who's been struggling with wanting to read over the last couple of months because they've been so busy and because like finding time to do that has just been really hard, it's kind of discouraging. And I'm not putting that blame on them because like what people say and how people say it, you choose how it affects you. But for some reason it's really getting to me. And I was just telling Rocco yesterday or the day before that like I haven't finished a book in the month of January, and we're 9 days in, and I've been reading some of these books for the last 3 weeks. Like, what is happening with me? But I think I'm just going through like a season. Sometimes I want to play video games. Sometimes I just want to watch YouTube or just want to watch like Netflix shows, or sometimes I want to binge read a bunch. So I'm going to be bringing Middlegame with me to work today. And hopefully I'll be able to get a good bit of it read because I want to know what happens. Like, that's the thing. I'm like excited to know the story and excited to see how it ends because I'm like a huge fan of Shannon's writing now. I think that she is a phenomenal writer. Like, the hype is truly deserved for her. And for me, it's like, if I feel like that, like, why am I not fucking doing it? So I'm feeling kind of frustrated, and feeling frustrated and then having like a goal to do something doesn't make that goal any easier to achieve. So that is what's happening. I have a lot of stuff planned for the rest of January, some stuff that's happening next week, and I know like I need to just like figure out what the fuck I'm doing and like get done when I need to get done. So that is what I'm going to be focusing on over the next week. I'll let you know how it works, or the rest of this weekend. But yeah, that is a little bit of an update start to the vlog. I'm sorry I've been filming for like 10 minutes and have basically just rambled at you this entire time, but I hope you can appreciate my honesty with how I'm feeling. But I will see you guys in the next update. I don't know when that's gonna be. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but I'll see you in a little while. Hey friends, what's up? As you can tell, I'm not at home, but I thought I would do an update really quickly. I'm getting ready to make dinner. My roommate, my boyfriend, and I are playing games tonight, and I thought I'd make dinner. So I'm getting ready to, hello ma'am, getting ready to do that. Ignore the cat, she demands attention constantly. But I wanted to sit down and talk to you about the rest of, well, what I've read of Middlegame. I've read about 150 pages, I think, since I updated you guys. Story is making more sense once again. I thought it was going to be a Frankenstein retelling because one of the characters, like, they create characters basically, but it's also turning into sort of like an Alice in Wonderland story, which is a little bit weird to me, but it's still pretty cool. Can I help you? What do you require? Ma'am? Ma'am? No, your dad said he put worm medicine on you, and I'm not touching you. Anyway, but it is still pretty good. I think that it's probably sitting at like a 3.5 star for me. I think overall, maybe I noticed these things because we're buddy reading it, but some of the chapters are really confusing, like the jumping back and forth. And I think Shannon said on her Instagram or on Twitter, I think, that Middlegame is not a book that she would recommend like for first-time fantasy readers, although I wouldn't necessarily say that this is fantasy. It's more of like magical realism, I guess. But I like it, but it is kind of all over the place. And the fact that you have to get pretty far into the book to be able to really start putting things together, I think for the average person, that's going to be kind of annoying. And it has been pretty annoying for me, but I do love the writing style and I do truly care about the characters. So overall, I really like it. It's just a bit strange to me. I think AJ gave it 4 stars. I'm sure Bunny's gonna give it 4 or 5, so I'm sitting at like a 3.5. So very enjoyable. I think I have about 100 pages left until I'm finished with it, so I'm gonna be finishing that. And then the other book that I'm reading, I'll put a picture on the screen for you guys. I'm actually listening to this on audiobook, is Everything I Never Told You. I think that's what it's called. It's a book that I've had on my shelves for a while, and the audiobook became available from my library. I'm about a third of the way through it right now. it's very much so a small town story. So it's about a woman who marries an Asian man when basically that kind of stuff is frowned upon, and he is a Harvard professor, and she sort of, I believe like works in his department and is also, no, she's a student of his, and that's kind of how they meet. But she works in like the same field, I believe, or at least wants to go to Harvard or wants to work at Harvard, something like that. But so her mom expects her to find like a Harvard husband and like settle down. And obviously that's not what she wants. She wants to be independent, but she meets this man and they get married. So fast forward, in the book, and their daughter has been found what they believe is murdered. Hello. And that's pretty much where I'm at in the story. And there's a little bit of like cheating happening and some behind the scenes stuff. And you're sort of starting to get like the overall story, and some of the stories are starting to weave together, which is like my favorite part. I don't know if this is a thriller book. I think it's just kind of like, I don't know, just like a fiction novel, because they're like, they don't really talk about like, or they haven't yet, that the great mystery of what happened to our main character's sister, because the story is actually told from one of the daughter's perspective part of the time, and then sometimes it's told from the husband and sometimes it's told from the wife. But so far I really like it, and that's been the overall consensus of the book that I've seen from people, so I'm not super shocked by that. But I wanted to let you guys know that that is what I'm reading and that's what I'm thinking of everything. But I'm gonna get off here and finish making dinner, because I think he's gonna be home around 7:15ish, and it's like 5:45, and I'm making a lot of food, so I do need to get my ass in gear. But I will try to update you guys tomorrow, if I'm able to read anything else, or maybe on Sunday. We shall see. I'm going to try to put the vlogs out on Wednesdays, like Mondays or Wednesdays now, depending on how much footage I get in between. So yeah, either way, I will see you guys either tomorrow or Sunday with more of an update. And hopefully by then I will have finished Middlegame. Good morning. It is Sunday. It's 11:35, but I wanted to update you. I just got my coffee. I've been like living off of decaf flat whites for the last couple of months. Anyway, I finished Middlegame. I gave it a 3.25, 3.5 star. I'm probably gonna like round down to 3 just for pure enjoyment of the book. I did a mini review for it on Goodreads because I knew I was going to be coming on here to talk about it. Basically, I liked the beginning of the story, even though it was a little bit confusing. I like the way that the author writes. I love Shannon's writings, and I thought when it first started that the story was really interesting. Now, the ending of the book was pretty strong. I did also like the ending of it, and obviously I really enjoy the characters, but a couple of things that I didn't like about the book is that I found it very confusing. I mean, there's a lot of technical terms that are thrown around in this because it is more of like a science-based book, which can be confusing, I think, for a lot of people. But I feel like that, coupled with the fact that the characters are jumping between different timelines, which I didn't really understand at the beginning of the book, it was really confusing to try to get a grasp on what was happening in my timeline, like in the timeline that they were supposed to be in, throughout the middle part of the book. Like, it wasn't the most unenjoyable book I've ever read, but because it was slightly confusing and a little bit, I felt all over the place, it wasn't my most favorite book that I've read so far this year. You guys will see on Wednesday a full wrap-up in my What I Read in a Week. I'm trying to do those wrap-ups on Wednesday every week, so hopefully you guys will see that then. The other book that I'm going to be trying to finish today. I can't talk. I've been up like 20 minutes. Is The Guinevere Deception. I'm about halfway through that, and I work a 12-hour shift, so I should be able to finish that today. And the other book that I'm going to be reading, I actually got this from DC. This comes out in, let's see, on the 4th of February, so I want to read it today. It does apparently, it's a diverse read and has humor and Asian superheroes. I wish, and I don't know if it has been sent out to specifically Asian reviewers, but it is Shadow of Batgirl, which is a DC comic. They're doing like a reworking of a lot of the stories and like in teen versions of them, and I am really excited to read this. The art isn't my most favorite that I've ever seen, but it's definitely not the worst. But I do want to read this today as well, and this won't take very long. It's just a comic book, but it says, Cassandra Cain, teenage assassin, isn't exactly Batgirl material yet. Will she step out of the shadows and overcome her greatest obstacle? The voice inside her head telling her she can never be a hero. Lucky for cash, you won't have to defy your destiny alone. With the help of her mentors, noodle shop owner Jackie Fujikawa Uniyama and a librarian named Barbara Gordon, she'll attempt to answer the question that only she knows how, learning everything she possibly can about her favorite hero. The only problem is that Batgirl hasn't been seen in Gotham for years. Can Cass find Batgirl before her father destroys the world she has grown to love, or will she have to take on a heroic mantle of her very own? So I'm going to be reading this as well. I have another one. I spoke about it in my haul that I'm going to be reading. It's the Leigh Bardugo Wonder Woman comic as well, but I did want to bring this with me today because I do actually really love Batgirl, and I think like an alternative Batgirl would be pretty cool to read. So that's what I'm going to be reading today. I'll try to update you guys tomorrow before I put up the vlog of what I thought of the Guinevere Deception and what I thought of this. Guinevere Deception I'm really liking. It's definitely like a YA fantasy, and I've been trying to, or I've been considering branching out of YA. I've been disappointed with a lot of the reads that I've like picked up recently, so I want to get back more into adult like fiction and fantasy and sci-fi and horror, and I don't know, I mean, maybe I'm just in a slump and it doesn't really have anything to do with YA, but I think there's just a little bit of something missing for me, so I'm going to be trying to do that. But I just wanted to update you guys really quickly, and I'll see you tomorrow with like my final thoughts and everything before we go into the new week. Hello, I'm back with updates. It's much later in the day. It's like 5 p.m. so I've had 5 hours to read. Basically, I read the comic book and actually really liked it. I was reading about the author, and she's always been a big fan of the character, and she wanted to kind of rework it in a way that sort of made sense to her because it was the first character she really saw herself in, and the character struggled with her own identity being Asian as well, and kind of how that played into the story. So I really appreciated it for that part, and the story was just generally like really interesting, and the art did grow on me. I ended up giving it 4 stars. It is a comic book, and I haven't read any more of it because obviously this is the first one that's released, but I do plan on continuing with it because it has a lot of good like overall story arc of like who you are, because our main character is the daughter of a really prominent villain, and she doesn't want to continue on like that, so she is deciding for herself who she really wants to be, and I can appreciate that. The other book that I was trying to read, like you guys know, is The Guinevere Deception. I have like 70 or 80 pages left, and I just had to set it down. I don't know, like it wasn't appealing to me, and it sucks because I was liking it when I was reading it, but it has a lot of general overarching themes that I'm just not really in the mood for, like sort of love triangles and like girls trying to find themselves. I don't know, like it sucks, but it also just seemed really lacking. Like I feel like stories that just have characters to kind of spur the story along, if the characters aren't super strong, it, you know, obviously it doesn't really hold up, and that's sort of what I'm experiencing now. And I'm like 80 pages from the end, and I'm like unsure of how it's going to wrap things up, but I think this might be a series. So I'm gonna try to finish it tonight when I get home. But I did start a new book, a book that I've been wanting to read for a very long time, and my library hold came in, and that would be The Great Alone. I'm reading this on my phone, so I'll put a picture somewhere on the screen for you. It's about a girl, Lenny, and her parents. Her dad is a POW from Vietnam, and he obviously like goes missing during Vietnam because he's a prisoner of war, and he does come back eventually, and her mom's like a little bit of a hippie, and her dad's like obviously a war veteran, so he's a little bit scarred like mentally and physically, and he has trouble like holding a job down and reassimilating to being, you know, just like a normal person. But one day a friend of his father sends him a letter and says that he left him some land up in Alaska. And so where I'm at in the story, they've just gotten to Alaska, and people are coming to try to help them like prepare themselves for the winter. But what I know from the story is that it's supposed to be kind of a very hard read, because the dad sort of in his own mind goes AWOL instead of kind of like battening down the hatch and like helping during the winter there. And winters in Alaska, like I grew up there, they're incredibly fucking rough. And where these people live, like I grew up in a village, but we had like electricity and like indoor plumbing. Where these people live, they basically live in a shack. Like they still have an outhouse, they don't have running water, they don't have electricity, like everything is propane. And like we had cabins like that we'd go to, but like where we lived primarily, it had like amenities. So like even where they're living in the middle of fucking nowhere, there's like 30 people that live in this, it's really like an outpost. Like she even says in the story, this is more of an outpost than an actual village that they live in. Like where I grew up had like 1,500 people, I think, when I was little, and now they have like 3,000, 5,000, something like that. But where they live has 30 people. It's very, very small. So like for me, it's like hard. Like I'm a military brat. Like, my ex-husband was in the military, my grandfather was in the military, both my grandfathers were, all the men in my family have been in the military. So as somebody who grew up there and as somebody who is the daughter of a veteran, and the granddaughter of veterans, like, it's a lot. So I'm like connecting with the story a little too much, I think, but that's part of the reason why it really appealed to me. This is me like dipping my toe back into like the adult like fiction genre, because like I said, when I first started reading, like even at a very young age, that's what I was reading. And I'm not trying to shit on YA, but recently, like, I was talking to Thoughts on Tomes, I'll list her channel down below, like on Twitter, because I was talking about this on Twitter, and she said something that really stuck with me, that the content of like the writing style and stuff of YA in recent years has gotten better than what she read in 2013, but recently she feels like there's more of a push to get like books out, and I feel that on a spiritual level, and I think that's what's happening with me, is I feel like there's such a call to like constantly have a book coming out, like, you know, like instead of like Sarah J Maas, for example, like Tower of Dawn wasn't supposed to be a full book and it ended up being a book, and while I did enjoy that, a lot of the books that are in that same, the authors that are in the same habit of doing that, I feel very let down with them, and I have a ton of examples of that from the past year, and I feel like books are being really rushed, so a lot of what I'm reading feels either unfinished or sort of empty, or like, for example, King of Scars, I felt like it was a caricature, and if Lee would have sat with that for a little bit longer, it would have been better, but there's such a push to get books out, and I'm really feeling that right now. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I've read some YA gems over the last year, like that video I think is coming up this week or next week, my top favorite reads of 2019, and there are a few YA books in there, but predominantly they are adult fiction, fantasy, and sci-fi. So I'm like, I'm not trying to shit on it, because I will defend for forever that I like YA and I enjoy reading YA. I just think right now I'm in like a weird mood where it's sort of lacking for me a little bit, and I would never judge somebody for reading what they want to read, but you know, like preference, like you go through moods and seasons of what you want to read. And right now I think I really want to read fiction, because even reading what I'm reading now, it feels more hefty and it feels like it has more to it. And I'm like 40 or 50 pages in, and I'm like already blown away by how much I like it. But like I said, it could be because I grew up there. It could be a multitude of things, but right now I'm really liking it. I'm gonna finish Guinevere Deception. I might finish it tonight. You know, I might finish it tomorrow, whatever, but I am gonna finish it. But I'm really liking The Great Alone. I think that this, like I said, this has been a book that I've seen over and over and over and over again and been like, I want to fucking read that, and haven't. So here I am finally fucking reading it. But I just wanted to update you guys, but I'll let you know tomorrow what I think of everything that I do wrap up, because I'm off work really late tonight and I probably won't have time to update you tonight when I get home from work. But I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey friends, it is Monday, the 13th at 1 o'clock, but I wanted to end the vlog really quickly. Basically, I read most of The Great Alone yesterday. I'm 70 some percent of the way through it. I just got completely sucked into it yesterday and was loving it so much that I just like didn't stop reading it the whole time that I was at work. Basically, I love this book, although I will say, in a lot of the reviews, because I was a dumbass and read the reviews yesterday, a couple of people were like, this book seems brutal for the sake of being brutal, and I can kind of see where people are coming from, but also from personal experience, I think a lot of what has happened in the book is very realistic to the types of trauma, when they do happen, that do happen in Alaska. So, and there's a lot of domestic violence, there is a lot of just violence in general. Basically, her dad becomes like a doomsday prepper, which doomsday in like a very extreme kind of way. So that's unfortunate, but I think it kind of makes sense for the story. But if you are a victim of domestic abuse or you're sensitive to things like that, you will not like this book. There's a lot of that in there. There's a lot of alcoholism, just so much in it that is like really hard to stomach, and I can see why people would be sensitive about it. So if you are, just be forewarned. But another thing that I read is people said the ending was really strange and kind of off. So I'm going to be reading the ending today, so that will be this, like what I thought of the whole book will be in Wednesday's video in my what I read in a week. But I did want to hop on here and just like let you guys know what I am thinking of it before I end the vlog. But so far I love it. So depending on the ending, this is going to be a 5-star read. If the ending's a little weird or I don't really feel for it, it'll probably be like a 4.5 or like a 4-star read. But so far I love it. But that is what I read this week. I'm sad I didn't finish the Guinevere Deception. I might finish it tonight at work just to get it out of the way. Honestly, I'm kind of in the mood where I like want to move on to other books that I'm excited to read. I did get The Light of All That Falls by James Islington, and that book is gigantic. It is literally the size of my head, like the thickness of my head. Like, it is a huge book. There's 800 and some pages, and I'm kind of nervous to read it because I like don't want the series to end, but now that I finally have it in my hands because Orbit sent it to me, I think that I just need to read it. But yeah, that is how my reading week went. That is what I thought of everything. I did enjoy Middlegame, but definitely like a 3-star read for me. I didn't finish Guinevere Deception. I'm gonna try to finish it tonight. And then obviously I'm loving The Great Alone. So I had a pretty good reading week, I think. I read a lot of pages. Like, looking back on it, I read like Middlegame, I was about a third to a half of the way through, and that's like a 500 and some page book, and I read a lot of that. And then obviously The Great Alone is almost 500 pages, so I've read a lot over the last couple of days, and I feel good about it. I feel like I'm finally getting a start on 2020 when it comes to my reading. So but that's gonna be it. I want to get this video up, but I want to clean my room, and I have to work tonight because it's the last college football game and we're gonna be really busy. So yeah, but I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, and I will see you in my next video.